results that matter a lot to those programs.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion about Colorado, and I don't know if anybody has more meetings than they do. I know that that's been something that a lot of people have kept up with, whether they ever make the decision, what they do to stay in the Pac-12, or if they actually are truly flirting more than just kind of glancing with the Big 12. A lot of that will depend on what the Pac-12 does with their TV deal. But one thing that I have been told, and this is from someone that knows some people, and this isn't me just throwing out a source that it would not, like just some random person. That late last week they were supposed to meet, and they eventually just maybe a week or two ago. But there was somebody that was a part of the room that was involved in the meeting that kind of wanted to be heard, and it kind of like threw the meeting not off the rails. It did not like take anything away. It basically delayed any more discussion about what Colorado would do, or possibly if they were thinking about literally leaving the Pac-12, which is obviously an option. Now, another week has gone by, and yet also another week without anything yet Pac-12, which, again, thrilled whenever that number, information, or whatever comes out so everybody can kind of know where they're going to live. But now what happened is, so you have the one person a week or two ago that was like, hey, I need to be heard here. And he kind of raised his voice in a way that he wanted to be the one that wanted to set something straight. Everybody heard him. There was a thought that okay, that's enough. Now we can move on. Let's listen to you or her, or he or her. Now there are others in that same room. They want to be heard. And so that's, people get, what's going on with them? One, it's part of business. They got a hell of a decision to make. If they stay, fine. If they leave, fine. But there's just kind of been a little bit of a not uprising, not disagreements, but more just maybe some egos that want their back scratched a little bit and make sure they're on record when it comes to what the future is at the University of Colorado. So that could have been what has kind of delayed even more of anything. They might vote about what's going on and might vote never even bring up the Big 12. Never bring up anything other than we've heard that everybody has their grant of rights set. We've heard that from the Pac-12. We've heard that from the reports by various national writers. But Colorado, if anybody's right there on the ledge, it's them. But there are some people that want their backs scratched. And now there was the one, and now there's a few others that still want to kind of be heard before they ever get to any kind of decision or vote. And we wait.
Yeah, I don't know what all that means. I mean, as far as what do they want? I mean, just to be heard? I mean,
I think there's a little bit of that. I think you might, you always have the conflict with these things when it comes to athletics, business, and academics. You're going to have that. That's why you have people who are a part of, the board, the regents, whatever you want to call them, governance. But I think it's now, okay, he had his chance or she had her chance. I want to have my voice. And it might even be in return volley to what was said or what was brought up a week or two ago. So you got egos involved here. You hope it's for the best of what's for Colorado. For just Colorado, that's all that matters. But it kind of seems like that has kind of pushed things down the road, so to speak. Again, here we are closing out yet another week.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all fine and dandy. I mean, people need to, especially those involved in, big decisions, need to have their 2 cents put in, and, that's understandable. That starts to get way too political for me to care about, honestly. I'm not a politics guy, and the whole system of it and how it all works and the ins and outs of it. I just don't care. I really have never ever once been interested in it, really. And that's not to say that I don't get why some people do find it interesting. It's just, for me, it's not something that scratches my itch as far as like, oh, wow, let me learn more about this. I'd rather read about, some world wars, there's other things, but I know some people love politics. And so if you like politics, especially at the college level, there's lots of it to be found, and that might be super of interest of you. So good to know that. And, we'll see how that plays out. But, yeah, that's something that, too, will have a time limit on it, I would imagine, because, there's only so long I think people are going to wait that feel like they've got to eventually, or get off the pot, basically, to worry about Colorado's politics and their inner, workings. But there's time, still out there. So we'll see what happens with that ultimately. But, yeah, not surprised that, if there is a decision to even be made, whenever that time comes, yeah, I think everybody's going to want to be involved that needs to be involved. And That's understandable because if there is a decision, it's a pretty massive one. I mean, it is. It's a school-altering decision potentially if, in fact, it goes down that road. So, yeah, that's to be expected somewhat.
Garrett sent this to us in the group text today. It's from